Hi guys, so I have a product here that I want to review from Barry M, and it is the Natural Glow Shadow and Blush Palette. And this is what the packaging looks like here. I've actually bought this palette along with the Smoky eye palette that they do a few months ago, and I've just had it in my drawer. I haven't really played around with it, so I thought it would be a really good opportunity now to kind of play around and see what it's like. So one of the main reasons I purchased this palette is because it is a neutral palette, and the eyeshadows in there remind me a little bit of like they have something out of all three of the Naked palettes. And I am all about recommending products that are like more kind of higher end products but on a budget. So the Naked palettes are beautiful. They are some of my favourite palettes in my collection, but they are quite expensive. I think they're like 30 something pounds each. Why not purchase it and see how it compares to those higher end products? And of course it's a bonus if it works, because it's great for people who are on a budget. Not everybody has that money to spend, and not everybody wants to spend that much money on a makeup product. So £6.49 for 6 eyeshadows and a blusher just seems like a bargain to me. My history with Barry M, I love Barry M. I've been using Barry M for about 15 years now, mainly when they just did the Dazzle Dusts. I don't know if anyone remembers that. They just used to do so many different colours in the Dazzle Dusts. If you're not sure what Dazzle Dusts are, they're basically like a loose pigment, and they were amazing. I used to love doing kind of rainbow eye looks with their Dazzle Dusts. They were brilliant. I'm also a massive fan of their nail polishes, especially the jelly nail paints. I think I've got a variation of jelly nail paints and then just the normal Barry M nail paints here. I'm really in the mood for spring with these kind of candy colours, but I've worn these for about 4 days now and I still don't have any chips at all, so they tend to last about a week on me before they start chipping. Really great budget nail polishes, highly recommend those. This palette, well, firstly let's get into it first. So this is what the packaging looks like. It's kind of a standard, it's nothing special, you know, it's just like a standard cardboard packaging. This does have a magnetic closure, so that's quite handy. And it's kind of a perfect travel size, so it's not too thick and not too long. Let me just read you the little blurb on the back. Enhance your natural glow with these 6 subtle eyeshadows in neutral hues and pastel pink blush. And it includes 2 double-ended applicators, which are just those sponge tip applicators, which, I don't know what, I've already lost them. I don't really use them very much, so I don't really have much use for them, but they do come in the bottom here. So once you open the palette up, you do have a nice little mirror here, and then you get your 6 eyeshadows here and your blush. I am wearing these on my eyes today. I do have a little demo for you. Unfortunately my camera cut out on the first part of it, so that's missing, but you can see the general process of how these apply. Here is the demo of me applying these Barry M eyeshadows. So I've already applied this mid-tone brown shade into my crease area as a transition shade, and then I went into this darker brown shade. It has a little bit of gold shimmer. I put this on my outer corner, as you can see here, and then I'm going in with this other brown shade that kind of looks more grey on the camera. It does have a little bit more of a grey tone, like a taupey tone to it. This also has shimmer in it, but it doesn't actually look shimmery on the lids at all. It's more of a satin finish, and I'm just blending that through my crease with my Real Techniques base shadow brush. I then went into this beautiful pinky, like dusky rose colour, and I applied this to my lid. I had to apply this so many times. I probably applied about 5 or 6 layers on it by the end of this video. It's beautiful in the palette, and it's a real shame that it's just not very pigmented, and it doesn't really come up on the lids at all unless you spend ages applying it and building up the colour. So if you were to use this, I probably would recommend using a pink base. Because these shadows blend away quite easily, I went back in to deepen up that crease area, and I really lightly blended these colours through. And that's another thing I will point out, these shadows do blend out very easily, so just be aware of that. And then I went back in and placed some more of that dusky rose colour. I then went into this bronze colour and I applied that to my lower lash line with a Sigma E30 pencil brush. And then I just took this vanilla shadow and I applied that to my brow bone as a brow bone highlight. And here is the finished look. No mascara, no liner, just the eyeshadow. because I love Barry M so much, I'm such a huge fan of them, I really wanted to like this, but I don't know, I have some serious issues with these shadows. Some of them, there are a couple of them that are beautifully pigmented, but some of them just do not. That you just have to keep applying and applying and applying to get any kind of pigmentation. I will swatch them for you in a moment so you can see what I mean. The blush, I'm not actually wearing the blush right now. If you're seeing this blush here, this is my Benefit Rockateur. I love that blush. This blush I tried to apply, but you couldn't even see it. It does not show up on my skin tone whatsoever, which is a shame because it's a really beautiful kind of soft baby pink blush. But this just has no pigmentation in it whatsoever. It's just pointless it even being in this palette. That's how I feel about it. So let's get into the swatches. So this is that dusky rose colour in this palette. This is one of the shadows that you have to really build up, which is a shame because it's a really beautiful colour and it does remind me of something that you would get in the Naked 3 palette. But I had to apply about 5 layers of this in order to get any kind of pigmentation on the lid, and yet you could still see my natural eye colour, like the natural colour of my skin coming through. You could still see skin coming through, I think is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so it's a shame because it is such a beautiful colour, but it is just really sheer. I've tried to build these up on my hands as much as possible. This next colour is like a creamy vanilla shade. I don't know if that's showing up. It's a little bit lighter than my skin tone, so I'm not sure how well that's showing up on camera. This is very chalky. I mean, they are all very powdery, a lot of fallout, but this in particular I found to be quite chalky to apply. This kind of warm mid-tone brown here is, I used this as my transition shade in the demo. It's okay, a little bit patchy. This is a deeper brown with a golden shimmer here. Again, quite patchy. It's okay once you build up the pigment, once you build the shadow up, but it's not great. Then we come to this shimmery bronzy colour. This isn't actually that bad. It's one of the better performing shades in the palette. We have this slightly darker bronze colour here with another gold shimmer. To me, it's okay. It looks kind of, once blended, it does look really similar to this colour at the bottom with the gold shimmer. So I almost feel like they could have included something else really. Maybe even a black would have been a good shadow to include in this set. These 3 lighter shades are matte shades and then the darker shades are shimmer shades. I possibly would have liked maybe 1 shimmery light shade and 1 shimmery dark shade just to mix it up a little bit. I would have also liked to have seen maybe a black rather than this dark brown here, because although they look quite different in the palette and swatched, that this one has more of a greyish tone to it, they're not dramatically different. I feel like if you had a black in there, it would have been better. Now I'm going to try and swatch this blush on camera for you. I will warn you though, this does not come up on my skin. So I'm actually kind of rubbing really hard to try and get any kind of pigmentation here. Okay, so can you see that? No, I can't either, but that's the blush. It's, yeah, you can almost see it. It's really pale. Really pale, but this does not show up on my cheeks, and that was with me rubbing, like, actually quite aggressively rubbing my finger into the palette there. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah. This is just a product that takes up unnecessary room in this palette, really. Because I don't know, it doesn't work, not for me. So anyway. All in all, even though this palette is only £6.49 and some people might say you get what you pay for, I kind of feel differently because I think there are much better performing palettes. Sleek do fantastic palettes for about £7.99. Most of them are really pigmented. There's only a couple of palettes that I've had problems with Sleek. And also I think if you're looking for beauty on a budget and you are looking for something to, you know, something that's going to work similar to those Naked palettes, I do feel like they could be a lot better pigmented and a lot better quality than these shadows. Especially as the Dazzle Dust was so highly pigmented, and I know that is because they're pigments, but I could have expected more with the Barry M shadows as well. Unfortunately, personally for me, I can't recommend this. I just feel like as the blush doesn't work at all for me, and only like the darkest shades are quite pigmented. All of them have a real problem with patchiness. I used my Pro Longwear concealer as a primer, but I have been trying these over primer as well, and it's just the same. They don't really work. And also I don't really like, when I do these reviews as well, I like to try and use the eyeshadows on their own before applying them to any kind of base in the future or anything. Only because I like to see how the eyeshadows perform themselves. So this is only over my Pro Longwear concealer, which acts just as good as my Urban Decay Primer Potion say. In fact, I almost feel like the Pro Longwear concealer is better. I mean, I'm looking at it now, and even though it's quite a pretty look and it is quite neutral, it's just that it takes so long to build that colour up, and it's already, I've not even had this on my eyes for a couple of hours, and I can see already bits starting to fade. It's a huge no for me. I would say Barry M are sold in Superdrug and Boots, and they always have palettes out there that you can swatch. So maybe if this is something you are thinking about, then definitely go and try and swatch these yourselves. I mean, you might feel differently to me. Maybe they might work better on deeper skin tones. I'm not sure, but for me this does not work. So personally, I can't recommend this palette. I'm really disappointed to say that because I love Barry M, but sometimes it just, yeah, it doesn't work out. So there you go guys, that was my review on the Barry M Natural Glow Shadow and Blush Palette. I hope this has helped you out in some way, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye bye.